My name is Ben Asselin. I'm from Calgary, Alberta. I'm a professional show jumping athlete and head trainer here at Attache Stables in Prentice, Alberta. Horses have always kind of been a part of my life. My father was a professional rider himself. My mother also was very involved with horses as a younger woman, and I was kind of bred into the family that way. So my first memories have always been surrounded by horses. I really was fortunate as a kid to grow up on a farm and be able to interact with horses and learn how they operate and learn to communicate with them properly. A typical day at Attache Stables is, it's early morning and later start. Horses don't really operate on a 9 to 5 clock. And there's a lot of care and preparation that goes into taking care of these animals that are competing at a very high level. They would get their breakfast on a very, very routine and scheduled time at 7 a.m. We have a great facility here at Attache Stables, so they're able to get out of their stalls, go into the paddock, get exercised by riders. They're on a very dialed in and routine-based meal plan, so they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And a typical day would be really just making sure that every horse gets out of their stall, gets worked and has the ability to be a horse also. So, I mean, we're competing in a specific discipline, but it's really important to make sure that the horses are still able to be in their natural environment. So we've got beautiful grass paddocks. They're able to get out there and just be normal horses. But we also have, a lot of incredible methods and techniques to maintain their health and wellness. So a typical day at Attache is really, getting horses out to work and train, getting them out to the paddock, also training younger students and clients and helping them with their pathway with their horses. At Attache Stables, we have quite a few horses. So we've got 21 stalls inside the stable. We also have some outdoor horses that live in the pasture, some brood mares and some younger stock as well. We also have some students and clients that board their horses here at Attache Stables, and we help them with their training programs and systems. My two main horses are Lucan and Corrido. They're both European warm bloods, both very, very large horses, and they compete at a very high level in show jumping. Well, the horses are quite funny. I think every horse is a bit different from one another, and that's the beauty of working with these animals. Lucan has a really different but funny personality. He's got a lot of personality, and he really likes to show that through his mannerisms. He really understands his people. He's got a great group of people that work around him and know him really well, and he's very familiar with those faces. He's got a lot of attitude. He's willing to please, but he's also not shy to show his true colors and his emotion, and he lets you know how he's feeling on every day. You can tell with his quirks how he is in the barn. Sometimes he's incredibly happy to go out and do some work and train, and other days he just wants to lay in bed. And Corrido is an incredible horse. He's got a presence around him that's kind of second to none. He's a big stallion. I would say he's almost a bit cocky. He knows he's very good, and he knows he's an athlete, and he makes it quite apparent to the other horses in the stable when he's coming out of the stall. He makes the horses aware that he's coming down the aisle. He likes to be quite vocal, But he's also a very gentle soul as well. So when you're in the stall with him, he's very kind. He loves to interact with people. He is just a really gentle giant. My favorite moment with the horse was in 2014. I was competing on the Canadian national team for the Nations Cup at Spruce Meadows, and it was the first time that I'd ever had the opportunity to compete on the Canadian team at Spruce Meadows at the Masters tournament. And we ended up winning the Nations Cup in 2014 with a packed house in front of hometown crowd. On my favorite horse that I've ever had the chance of riding, who is McAvoy. So I'd have to say that would definitely be number one on the list of favorite moments. I believe that saddle fitting is challenging because we all want the very best for our horses, and it's imperative that our tack fits our horses perfectly. Horses are incredible athletes themselves. They have a lot of muscle and they're able to do things that are absolutely incredible. But in order for them to do that, they have to be able to move freely and feel free. And I believe that the methods that we have currently used in the past in terms of fitting for a saddle are not always completely accurate. And so to find a method that really defines exact measurements of a horse's structure and conformation is imperative and incredibly beneficial. Horsemanship has been around for centuries. There's all across the globe, there's incredible horsemen, and horses have been a part of civilization for such a long time that the advancements in how we treat and care for and maintain horses has really come a long ways. But the historical tradition of how you interact with horses and what you do with them still remains the same. And I think that those principles are really, really necessary to maintain the consistency there, because horses at the end of the day are animals, and they need to live that life properly. So trying to find the balance between heritage and tradition and technology and advancement it's a fine line. Especially in the equestrian industry, you tend to find a lot of gimmicky products and services that say that they will help with a specific training aid or behavioral issue or tack issue. But at the end of the day, saddle making has been around for a very, very long time. And so it's not really about trying to change the whole picture of it or changing the wheel. It's really just finding those incremental benefits that make it that much better. I've always been interested in the sport. I've always loved horses. I've always loved interacting and communicating with horses. And when I started to compete with horses in the sport of show jumping, I caught that competitive bug. And when you develop a relationship and a partnership with a horse, and you're able to compete at a high level, you start to look at little things that you can always try to improve on, whether that's how you ride or whether that's how you approach a certain competition, but also in terms of tack and equipment and what are the possibilities of stepping outside of the norm and outside of the boundary and trying to find little things that can really help your performance and also help your horse's performance. So I believe that the idea of Tack-Tek has always been to really emphasize and highlight horse welfare, horse wellness. I believe that we're trying to reshape the way that people fit their tack to their horse. And over the 20 years of experience that I've had with horses, it's been an incredible journey, and to be at this point that we are now with this technology that is incredibly accurate and really is going to help shape the future of how you fit your saddle to horses has been a really inspiring and a huge learning process for me. The team at Tack-Tek is incredible in the way that they bring the incredible amount of technology towards an industry that's been around for centuries. And so it's been a really fun journey, and I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of it. Well, I believe that Tack-Tek is really going to benefit all of us at Attache Stables in the way that we look at saddle fit. I also believe that it has the ability to really keep a consistent eye on the development and condition of our horses. The simplicity of the app itself is a game changer. And I also believe that it's not, you don't have to just use it for fitting your horse's back for a saddle. You can really look at your training program, see how much muscle that they've put on, and see how their backs have changed over a period of 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, which is incredibly beneficial for horses that are jumping at a high level, and for our business here at Attache Stables, when we're producing young horses and producing horses for all different types of levels and disciplines. It's an incredible tool to be able to really track and analyze how a horse is progressing. The simplicity of the app is the best feature about it. It's incredibly easy to use. It's safe to use. And in the past, getting a saddle fit by a saddle manufacturer or a representative of a company that creates saddles has always been a bit of a long process. First, you need somebody to drive all the way out to your farm, come and take measurements using a bendy ruler of some sort, which then gets thrown into the back of the car and gone back to the shop, and then they take that measurement and trace it onto a piece of paper and create the saddle from there. Whereas this application really allows the user to directly communicate with the saddle manufacturer or representative that they choose to work with, send them, a scan that gives a fulsome and wholesome idea of the horse's back shape and muscle tone, while also giving pinpoint and accurate measurements throughout the wither and the barrel and the spine of the horse. The best piece of advice for any horseman or horsewoman is to be patient. Horses are incredible beings, and they are willing to please in every way, but they need time to understand how you communicate with your horse. So I see it a lot with younger and maybe inexperienced people around horses. They're not as patient as they need to be. The training and the communication and the relationship with a horse is really built off of many, many days and many hours spent with the animal, and that develops a trust. And once you have that, then the possibilities are endless.